Hello YouTube. This is Baylor Mage again, and today we're going to go over the juicing up strategy that I've decided to go with for the last 2 days. I've been running this 2 days, 5 days maybe even now. I've been running this strategy for about 5 days. As many of you may know, I've been on the hunt for the sort of fun juiced content that I liked to do in the past, but still profitable, because we can't do juice the way we used to do. So far, this is one of my favorite methods we've found. I will say it isn't the absolute most profitable thing you can do. Right now, I was prioritizing my personal brand of fun over the top of profit, but I still wanted to make good profit. So what we're doing here is primarily hunting Chayula stones, full stones that we sell in bulk, and also a just absolute buttload of harvest juice. So we're doing a few things. One, we're running dunes, big open layout, tons of room for everything, doesn't obstruct breaches. It's great. We are running the sextant for your maps contain breaches to make sure that we have breaches on every map. We are running the sextant for breaches in your map belong to Chayula, so that every single map, every single breach is a Chayula. That's already great. We're also running gilded breach scarabs, so we're getting a lot of breaches through our map, all of them Chayulas, and we are fully specced into them, so we quite often see bosses. Every time we see a boss, it drops 20 splinters. There's extra hands. Sometimes it drops full stones. All of that is pretty good. We average 70 to 80 splinters per map. Now, a full stone is 100 splinters, and a full stone is about 60 chaos, sometimes 62 when you're selling them in bulk. So we're looking at 50-ish chaos per map on average. Sometimes we only walk out with 30, but sometimes we also work out with 1.5 full stones. But it seems to average itself at around 70 to 80. So that's pretty profitable, pretty quick. Fighting lots of Chayulas is always good. The other half of the sextants is I'm running your maps contain Sacred Grove to guarantee that there's a harvest garden. And I'm also running one of the harvest monsters in your map have 100% more life. Harvest monsters in your map contain at least one crop. And life force doubled from your harvest monsters. So we're getting double the amount of juice. Now, I've been running the purple plant version of this. Mostly because it was cheaper. The purple seeds are worth the second most amount, and they are close. The yellow ones are probably worth the most, but the yellow sextants were far more expensive because I assume other people's strategies were using them, and they were only worth like a little bit more. So it ended up just being more profit for me to run the purple one because it was cheaper to buy, and so the margin was way better. Also, you quite often still get yellow plants while you're in there, so I just pick the yellow ones when they're there, and when they're not there, I'll always get to pick the purple one, which is a very close second. I only ever pick the blue plot when it's either a boss, which I have found quite a few of, or it's got like 3 or more rares in it of the like solid name one at the bottom, and I'm like, that's going to drop way more juice, like double the amount of juice, so I'll run that one. So that's been pretty cool. We probably get the average out of our gardens is about 70 to 80 chaos worth of juice out of each garden in every single map. So between that and the splinters, more than pays for all the juice we're putting in. That's already profit on its own. Anything else we find in the entire map, completely extra. So we're going to move in game and show you the passive tree we're using and also explain a few options. All right, so here we are in game. Here's my Corrupting Fever Tornado Shot character I've been playing. So we have been varling all of our maps, going for 8 property maps whenever we can, or un-ID'd ones that have like 90 plus quant. I'm not sure that that's necessary because a lot of the rewards we're getting are sort of the guaranteed rewards, the juice and the Chalupa stones. But we're running Gilded Breach, any version of Elder, whatever's the cheapest. I'm just trying to put mobs in my map. I just like killing as many things as possible. There might be a more profitable sextant scarab than this. I don't know, but I like putting a lot of mobs in my map, so that's great. Polished reliquary scarabs because a lot of the loot that comes from Arch Nemesis stuff is converted from uniques loot. And when I started running polished reliquary scarabs over the course of the day, that worked out really well. It seemed to make me a lot more money. I don't know if I'm imagining that, but it does seem to be a lot better. I didn't have anything else I really wanted to put in there anyway, so all good. And I am running a Gilded Harbinger Scarab. Now, I do want to point out, Harbingers are just always something I have personally liked. That's why I'm running this. You could replace this with anything. It would be fine. We're running Fortune Favors the Brave, and we are not bothering with any masters at all. I have been using my Beast Masters up whenever they hit like 40 or 50 just to use them up, but that's just for the sake of putting more rares in. So you can also see our sextants here. I happen to have a few of the 16 use ones for breaches because for some reason someone put some up cheap, so we bought them, but generally I haven't been using those. I've just been using the regular ones. Life Force is duplicated. All the ones I said, always Chalupa. That's great. The important part is actually our tree. So I will have a link to this tree, how it is right now, in the description of the video, but there are quite a lot of things here that you could change up according to what you want. So the things that are mandatory, the things that make this strategy work, every single breach node and every single harvest node, we do not need this one because we're going to have harvest in every map from the sextant, but breaches, harvest there, breaches here, breaches here, breaches here, harvest here. All of those mandatory. Those are absolutely mandatory, as well as getting either this altar down here and getting that, or specking out of all of those and grabbing this side, depending on which boss you want to farm up. You do still want to be taking over those, so whichever influence you prefer is fine. Everything else on this whole tree is sort of an up to you deal. So my particular build doesn't deal with essences very well, so I didn't spec into essences. It is only a few travel points to grab essences there. We're already here. We could get essences there, and we're already here, so we could get our essences there, and we're already here. So we're near almost everything. We could have got essences. We don't need to be out here blocking this at all. This is only 2 blocks, and it realistically is not worth all of the points to come out here. If you had something better to put it on, you should absolutely do that. All these points are worthless. Realistically, if you wanted to add shrines, you could come through here, grab shrines that way, and drop all of that. You also don't have to go Harbinger. Harbinger is one of my favorite mechanics. It does have a lot of rares in it. Those rares can be touched rares, and those touched rares do drop divines. So I really like Harbingers. I'm not positive they're worth it. The main reason they've stayed is just because it's been one of my favorite mechanics forever, and I really enjoy them, and we've been hunting fun. But you could drop Harbingers of everything. You could also drop strong boxes off everything if you want. Gives you a lot of points to play with to put into whatever mechanics that you want. The important part is we only have 1 scarab that we can play with. You can drop the Harbinger scarab for any other scarab you like, but we have no sextants that you can play with. So whatever you invest into, make sure it's not something that needs a sextant. So you can drop boxes and pick up extra abysses. You could start going into a little bit of legion stuff, but you can't use the guaranteed legions. So I think legion's a poor play here. But abyss is really good. Shrines could be quite nice as well. You do have enough points to put in ruckus if you just like killing rogue exiles. You could spec into heist stuff if you wanted to do heist stuff. There are a lot of floating points here. The only important part is that we hit at least one of these sides, either the side I have or this other side for the influence kinds, and that we hit all the breach nodes that I have and all the harvest nodes that I have. That will guarantee you money. So the only other thing that's a little bit weird is I did take this wheel, which feels really troll, but I'm going to be honest, these bosses get duplicated quite a lot, and nowadays the bosses seem to be dropping quite a lot. I feel like I'm getting 2 to 3 uniques per boss kill, and if it's a duplicated boss, we're looking at quite often 6 uniques on the floor. Granted, they're almost always trash because almost always that's what uniques are, but there are a lot of them, so I'm at least rolling that slot machine as often as possible to hope to get a good one. I didn't, but it is still worth doing, at least in my opinion. So yeah, there's my tree. There's everything I'm doing. Probably going to try out a few other strategies. Please, if you have any other big juice strategies that are turning a lot of profit, let me know in the comments. I would love to know more options of juice strategies. I've seen a lot of low investment strategies and a lot of alk and go strategies, which is generally not the kind of play style I like. Many of the people who are regulars here will know I liked a lot of the really juicy stuff. I liked running Double Beyond. I liked running Delirious. I liked running all of those things. Those were fun. I always did them for fun and not profit, but they always made profit, and they need to, so I can sustain that content. So that's what all we've been on the hunt for, is just what can I find the most amount of fun that still turns enough profit? And that's what this is. It's been the most amount of fun for me. I've really enjoyed it. I'm making the best of what's left, and it may not actually be as good as some alk and go strategies. But I find those boring, and I want to fill my maps with mobs. So this is what I've gone with. Right. That is everything for this video, and I will see everybody next time. Goodbye.